Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust. From home selling tips to investing, this is the talk show that will help you make the most money when selling your most valuable asset and save the most money when buying. Now here are your hosts, Dave McKay, along with Wally Kerr, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty in Oklahoma City.
Well, welcome. Good Saturday to all of our listeners. This is the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr, Cindy Kerr. I'm Dave McKay. How are you guys doing today?
Ready for Turkey Day.
Yeah,
right?
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
Yes, big plans.
The kids and the grandkids now live here, so our son and daughter-in-law, that's one of our sons, and our three granddaughters moved here from Owasso just right at a year ago. They invited us over, which was...
Yeah, isn't that great? I don't have to cook this year.
yeah.
I loved it.
It caught Cindy by surprise a bit.
It did. I was expecting to cook, but then they said, we'd like to do it. They're going to move their big sofa out of their living room because it's going to be a great big family event and put up a big old table. So it should be awesome.
What about you, Dave? What are your plans for Thanksgiving?
We're driving up to Illinois.
Fantastic.
Gonna visit Mom and the brother and everybody up there. So it's going to be a good trip.
Great. Well, I hope you travel safe. And for our listeners, travel safe if you're going for Thanksgiving. And if we forget to say anything about it late in the show today, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family if you're listening.
Absolutely. As always, the show is brought to you by Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage and Best Protect Roofing and Construction. Wally, what do we have on tap for today?
We'll look at the mortgage rate outlook. Now, there was some interesting news that came out this week. We're not going to dive too deeply into that, but there was some news about the outlook over the next 2 years.
Okay.
There's a lot of fascinating articles to read about. You know, everybody today wants to talk about the economy and the interest rates because it's just the brunt of a lot of discussion. So there's some interesting news. We may mention a little bit of that today. In our House Talk segments today, Cindy's going to talk about 6 ways to find bargain-priced homes. You showed me some of your material, and it was really good and really interesting. We've got a segment on my weekly wisdom, and we're also going to talk about today 4 habits of a successful home buyer.
Okay.
So a lot of people setting up to perhaps purchase a home next year. And even if it's your second or third or fourth home, I think you'll enjoy some of the advice here. We'll also talk about what the New York Times commented about this last week, about what they think the Fed should do.
Okay.
So interesting ideas, and it made me go, So we'll get into a great show today, and hopefully it'll be something that our listeners really enjoy.
And if you can't catch the show live, all episodes of the show are available for download at major podcast apps. And of course, WallyTalksHouses.com. You'll find a summary for each show you can scroll through and select from. Just find the topic you want to listen to and start listening. We'll be back in just a minute.
The market is shifting. Do you know what to do? If you're selling a home, you need to realize that market demand is changing, and it's changing now. More homes are coming on the market than homes that are actually selling, so the inventory is going up. What does rising inventory mean? Prices can soften. It's important you get on the train right now and understand what you need to do to sell a home. First of all, my guaranteed home sale program will create more demand for your home because I can buy someone else's home so that they can buy yours. If you're thinking about selling by owner, I can create more demand for your home than you can ever create on your own. I'm Wally Kerr, and I believe in aggressive marketing. My wife and I have done this for 36 years together, and we now have a team of 28 people. If you'd like to create more demand for your home so that your home will sell faster and for top dollar, give me a call today at 405-330-4000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'd love to meet with you and discuss a strategy and plan for getting your home sold. Call me at 330-4000. I look forward to talking to you myself.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984 4758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Wally, I know that you like to live life in the fast lane. We were just chatting off air because tickets have just gone on sale to go see the Eagles up in Tulsa coming up in the near future. You mentioned you've seen them before, is that right?
Yeah, this is the long goodbye tour, and Cindy and I bought tickets yesterday. But yeah, I've actually seen the Eagles 7 times, Dave.
Oh, wow.
I saw them on the Hotel California tour.
Okay.
At the Myriad here in Oklahoma City, because I grew up and born and raised here.
And then it was 6 other farewell tours?
That's about right. So let's see that one. And then I guess I didn't see them again until after Cindy and I got together. Ironically, we've seen them in a lot of locations. We saw them, of course, in Oklahoma City and in Tulsa.
Okay.
We did drive to Dallas to the American Airlines Center maybe 10 or 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Drove to Tulsa once. To the BOK Center, and
my favorite was Harvey's Outdoor Amphitheater in Lake Tahoe, California.
That sounds
love Lake Tahoe. So it was just magical to be sitting outside, the big pine trees, outdoor stage, and hear all those songs. It was amazing.
It was quite a setting. We were lakeside.
Yep.
And it was a beautiful setting, a beautiful time of year. I think it was August. Ironically, I was actually emceeing for the OU Athletic Club, the Sooner Club tailgate.
Yes.
The show was at like 8 o'clock, Cindy, on a Friday night.
Yes.
We drove back to Reno and flew out the next morning at 4 a.m. So I could connect back and run a tailgate for the University of Oklahoma as the MC, and I had to be back to start setting up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
But we made it.
Barely made it. But it was so cool to stand in front of the crowd because I've done some MC work.
Yes.
It was cool to stand in front of the crowd and say, I was at Lake Tahoe last night when they played Hotel California. And I got some confused looks. And I said, really? But it was an amazing trip, wasn't it?
Yes,
Cindy?
it was. We've really tried to blend our love of music with travel, so we'll go to different venues. In many cases, it was the Eagles, but to see different groups, and it allows us to go to different places in the country.
Yeah, I think one of our other neatest trips was we went to Vienna, Virginia, to the Wolf Trap.
The Wolf Trap.
There are 417 national parks in the United States, Dave.
Okay.
And the Wolf Trap in Vienna, Virginia, which is about 30 minutes to the west of D.C., is the only national park that's dedicated to the performing arts.
Oh, wow.
So if you go on and look online at the Wolf Trap, it's a really cool indoor, outdoor type venue with a lawn. And we saw Jackson Browne on July 3rd.
Oh, how cool.
Stayed at the National Mall and saw the parade and the fireworks on July 4th and flew home on July 5th. So if you love music.
That's a cool weekend.
Yes.
If you love music, check out the Wolf Trap. That was also an amazing trip, wasn't it, Cindy?
Okay, so one of these weeks coming up, we'll have to do another segment on amplifying your home, how you put all the electronics and not just the smart stuff, because you can go way into the weeds on that. But we might have to talk about, if you're a music lover, how you can do all the surround sound stuff in your home. We might have to chat about that again sometime.
You mentioned, and I don't want to skip over, I did catch your pun on life in the fast lane. It's just that I was disappointed that you didn't ask where we stayed when we went to Vienna, Virginia.
Well, where did you stay?
We stayed at the Hotel California.
All right, well, on with the show, if you will. Mortgage rate outlook. Let's talk about, what do we see there? What are the feds talking about? What do we see in the future?
We need your crystal ball, Wally.
Well, first of all, I talked to Chris Doak this week, and he gave some interesting information. He said, hey, Wally, I had a borrower that came in, and it was a smaller loan amount, below $250,000. And he said they had very good credit, and I was able to lock them in on a 7% fixed rate. He said, now I had another borrower at the $400,000 level just a few days before, and that was closer to 7 3/4. So he said it's a pretty wide range right now, but a good borrower with good income and good job credentials, as far as employment, with the right loan amount. He said, we can get some pretty competitive rates. Dave, Cindy, for most of the mortgage rates continue to be weighing down the housing market, with buyers wondering when these rates are going to thaw out. Will they thaw out after winter? So home prices have continued to climb over last year's levels, believe it or not. Even with mortgage rates, where they are, home prices are still increasing in most cases. And mortgage rates have shown some signs of softening following last week's Fed meeting, and that was because it looks like, and then the news this week was that inflation is flat. Came out on Tuesday of this week, and the metric for the Consumer Price Index said that it looked like we were at 0.2 on inflation, and of course 0.2 times 12 months in a year is only 2.4% on inflation. That news was very good last week and this week, and so there is some speculation that the Fed might be at the top of its level. Then on the other case, you've got Jerome Powell saying that they're not sure that they've done all the increases. So, recent employment data showed that slowing job market. So if future economic data further supports, signs of an economic slowdown, good things might happen, at least for the housing market, in the way of lower rates.
Good.
We'll have to see what happens.
Here's a question for you. I know we're in just about the slowest time of the year, and someone's just thinking about moving. Maybe they do have to move, but it's not immediate. They're a little skeptical of the interest rates. They want those to come down. The values of home are going up. How do you help someone over the fear of it just costing so much money on appearance to move into a home? I know the fact is you could do the buy downs, which offset it. And I know that you're already gaining equity when you get into a home because they are continuing to rise at a good rate. But someone might still be just a little skittish. How do you help them through that?
You do have to think about the fact that if you wait for potentially rates to come down next year, wow, there's going to be a lot of competition on the part of buyers,
Yes,
and you
that's
may
true.
not get. I've seen some really interesting analytics where it looks like if you pay today's rate versus a lower rate, but a lot of competition and higher prices, you might be better off with today's rate, and then you can always refinance, and you're not competing with all those buyers.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I agree. And I think it's all about finding the right home at the right price right now. And there's a great opportunity to do that. And Cindy's going to visit with us about that today.
That's right. Coming up next, it's House Talk with Cindy. 6 ways to find bargain-priced homes. See, it was perfect. I'm a savant. I'm leading right into it. Stick around. We're going to talk about that next.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. From knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Stoke with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
I'm Wally Kerr, and if you didn't know, there are 6 big reasons why homeowners like you choose to list their home for sale with us. First is our offer to sell your home at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. How can we do this? It's reason number 2. We have hundreds of pre-vetted home buyers waiting for their dream home to come available. That home may be yours. I'll show you our list of buyers when we meet. Our partnership with Zillow is reason number 3. Zillow chose our team to help dozens of ready home buyers each and every month. Reasons 4 and 5, MLS data shows that our listings have sold faster and for more money on average for 4 years in a row. But don't take my word for it. We have hundreds of online reviews at both Google and Zillow. See what our customers say about us. I'm a 35-year broker with over 4,000 home closings. My team and I are ready to work for you. Call me at 405-330-3000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, or simply visit wallyhasthebuyers.com. I look forward to talking to you myself. Call me at 330-3000. 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Well, Cindy, we sent Wally out for some coffee and donuts. No, he's actually sitting right here, but I want to ask you 6 ways to find bargain-priced homes. I know everyone likes bargains, and especially if you can get the home you want a little bit less than maybe what you're willing to pay for or maybe what they're asking for. It seems like a really good win for you when you're trying to find that bargain-priced home. So you said you have 6 tips. Let's hear them.
These come from Zillow as well as our experience. So number 1 is look for homes that have been on the market for at least 60 days or longer.
Okay.
And that may mean that a seller's starting to get motivated, not always. And number 2 is look for vacant homes. That's a search field that we can search for our buyers.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and if a home is vacant, in some cases a seller may be making a payment on it. They may be in a new home making a payment.
And they want to unload quickly.
They are ready to,
Yes.
not always, but in some cases they may be willing to negotiate on the price. And number 3, stay away from turnkey homes, which would be homes that are completely remodeled, ready to go.
Okay.
As well as the other side, which would be fixer-uppers. The sweet spot is something in the middle.
Okay, so I would think that you would get a better deal on a fixer-upper because you have to do your work yourself. But are you going to say on the back end, the money that I'm going to be spending to fix it up negates the bargain of a fixer-upper, or why?
Well, it's the unknown. I'll tell a little story. Before I ever met Wally, I bought my first home in California, and it was a little 2-bed, 1-bath, and it needed a complete renovation.
Okay.
And I wasn't even in real estate then, and I hired a contractor to come in and just gut it. All the way down to the studs, kitchen and bath. It was a 2-bed, 1-bath. Well, every day the joke was that I came home, that contractor said to me, Cindy, we need X amount of thousands more because we opened this wall and we found whatever.
Oh, no.
And I said to that contractor, you never deal in hundreds. It's always thousands of dollars.
It's funny how that happens.
What? But that's exactly, there's so much unknown. So even though you have an estimate, things can come up.
So you mentioned turnkey homes. Would that be like buying a new home? I mean, you're not going to find a bargain priced new home.
That's right. There's 2 kind of turnkeys we're talking about. First of all, it may be something where someone's gone in and completely remodeled it, and they're going to want top dollar for it.
I could see that.
Yeah. Secondly, it could be brand new construction. And you know what, Dave, when you think about having to sell that home, if you do have to sell quickly, who is your competitor? The builder. Because they're probably still in that neighborhood building.
Yes.
And those builders are offering buy downs. They may be offering allowances for drapes and landscaping and things like that.
Seller paid closing costs.
Seller paid closing costs. But also, there's something about a brand new home. You've got now a competitor who's offering a home where a buyer can walk in and pick their own colors, their own finishes.
Okay, let me jump in here and ask if I do want a fixer-upper, and I know I have to do a renovation, but I am not on HGTV. I don't have my own show where it's unlimited funds. Is there a way that I can find the nice, quaint little bargain fixer-upper and still do a renovation that doesn't cost me as much? Is there renovation loans?
There are loans for that.
So what does that entail? Why is that different?
So Wally can tell us a little bit about that.
So I think there's a lot of people that are forgetting that these programs are available. And that's why we wanted to bring it up today.
Me, thank you.
I had a recent listing that needed a lot of remodeling on the inside. And the feedback that was coming back from realtors and their customers was that the home just needed too much work and that it wasn't worth the price. So, for instance, FHA and VA and conventional programs have rehab loans available. Let's talk about real quickly. It's been months and months ago since we talked about this. The FHA has what's called a 203K loan, where I can go look at a home and say, wow, this needs work. I don't have the money for my down payment plus my closing costs. plus another $20,000 or $30,000 to renovate this home.
But it might be in a great area where you want to live.
I love the neighborhood, but I don't have the money to do this. So, Dave, on a FHA 203K, you identify, along with the appraiser for the mortgage company, things you want to do and will they add value. Things that are like changing out old appliances or old flooring, maybe updating countertops or replacing the roof or fixing that rickety porch on the older home. And so on an FHA 203K, you can borrow as a part of your mortgage between $5,000 and no more than $35,000 that they finance right into your loan, and you have access to that money for 6 months after closing, 3 months or 6 months
and
to get your renovations done.
They're saying this is going to add $27,000 worth of value. You borrow that $25,000, add a little shine to it. Yes, the home automatically increases in value. Yeah, we can do that for you.
Make that happen.
That's correct. So they've got to get that. You can't go in and say, well, the countertops in the home are white and I want to change them to purple. And they're probably not going to approve that as a value consideration.
Yes.
But they are looking for things the appraiser wants to see that you want to do things to the home. Here's a great example that will improve the value, like windows. Mm-hmm. Maybe the home has really old windows. Maybe they're old wood windows that were original in an area where you can change those out without any restrictions. Maybe they are thermopane windows that were very, very cheap quality.
Leaking, perhaps,
broken
blown
thermopane seals. You want to put in a higher quality window that has more insulating factor. So rehab loans, just very simply put, and if you have questions about a rehab loan, perhaps you're considering an older home that you might like to buy, and you've looked at it, but you just don't have the money to remodel it. Give Cindy or me a call at 330-3000 or shoot us a text. Mm-hmm. We can tell you more about these rehab loan programs that are available today so that you can finance those repairs into what you're borrowing and not have to go take a second mortgage or a home equity line of credit after you close.
At a higher interest
rate. At a much higher interest rate. So these are really good options that people should consider if they're looking at a home that's outdated or is in need of repairs.
Are there any options as I'm the buyer and I'm approaching the seller and everything from closing within 2 weeks to a month and a half to different factors? Can that play into me getting a little money back and making it a bargain for me? Or is that already kind of the train has left the station?
I think that's a good question. I think that working with the seller, and we've talked about a win-win, find out what the seller needs. Who knows? If you're willing to go in and close in 3 weeks and you've got all your ducks in a row, which Cindy will talk about, and we will talk about together later in the show about the best habits that are practiced by a buyer who's prepared to buy something inside the marketplace. Hey, if you've got, again, your ducks in a row and you're ready to buy and you can help a seller, you might be able to get some of these things funded, from the seller, concession on closing costs, or maybe that update allowance we're talking about.
Are there anything like a fire pit, a storage facility in the backyard, something that's going to take a little bit to move? Is that another win-win situation where you make concessions with the seller if I'm buying it, and then in turn, maybe you give me back a little bit more for the closing costs and things?
Well, and it may help you negotiate because as a buyer, if you're willing to meet the needs of the seller, it could be like you talked about. Your closing date, a seller who's moving across country and moving their kids and their family and starting new jobs. They're looking for somebody who can be flexible and work with them on closing date. And it also might be personal property. We've had funny things over the years. We have had sellers who've been attached to a plant in the yard that would normally stay, but it was gifted by a long-lost relative, and that seller's so attached to that rose bush, and a buyer might be willing to allow that seller to dig that up.
What you have to remember is if it's permanently attached to the property, dug into the ground, attached to the wall, it's supposed to stay with the property. Let's talk about for a minute some other bargains that you might be able to find, and one that came to mind for me would be we have these connections with people who are calling all of the time. They understand we have a guaranteed sale program. They would like us to buy their home. They want the convenience of not having to show the home and put it on the market.
Sure.
Get the kids out of bed on a Saturday morning, go take their dog or their cat out of the property while it's shown. They're looking for a quick sale, and these can lead to some bargain-priced properties that we have access to that other agents don't.
And then also, don't forget to explore government-sponsored loan programs. Wally, talk about that.
Yeah, there's some really good programs, aren't there, Cindy? Anything from the USDA program where you can get 100% financing. Some of those can be bargain priced because maybe they're a little more rural.
Yes.
Maybe there aren't as many people, Dave, that want a property that's more rural, land to maintain.
Yes.
Maybe that drive in is a little bit farther
That's right.
to work.
Gravel
you can maybe find a
road.
bargain there
There
if
you
it's
go.
just a little bit farther from town. There's also a program called Good Neighbor Next Door, and I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners won't have ever heard about this. I had a teacher years ago in Norman who was actually able to buy a $60,000 HUD repo because she was a teacher at the school in that same district where the home was. They called it Good Neighbor Next Door, and she got to buy the home for 50% of the listed price.
Sign me up.
This
I
home
know.
was- this
They
home
don't
was-
have radio DJ, unfortunately.
as being a good neighbor next door.
Yes.
I believe this home was actually listed for about $68,000. She was able to buy it for 50% of that at about $34,000.
Oh, my goodness.
That was a few years ago.
Well, it's probably 20 years ago.
Yes.
And
Still,
this is a program typically available for school teachers, firefighters, and policemen.
Fantastic.
So as the market changes, and those things do come available even in a market like the one today where the market is strong.
For buyers in those occupations.
Probably not $68,000 anymore. It's probably increased. But look at things like rural properties, homes that have been on the market for a long time, like Cindy talked about, and some of these really good government programs.
I can see where finding these bargain price homes and getting the best financing and programs can make a big difference for buyers who are looking to buy in the market right now and need this kind of help. So speaking of help, let's roll right into Wally's Weekly Wisdom. You have over 30 years of real estate experience in Oklahoma. Now, she has you beat. She has 2 states worth of experience. But I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that because it's Wally's wisdom.
That's right.
So let's hear what you got to say.
Well, I went for big picture today instead of something specific. Last week we talked about earnest money. We've talked about mechanical things and updates around your home. Today I'm going big picture, and I'm going to share 2 really meaningful quotes today in hopes that it will help some of our listeners. And number 1 is from Franklin D. Roosevelt, who said, "Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense and paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world."
FDR said that.
He did.
Wow.
Okay.
And along those same lines, have you ever heard of T. Harv Eker, whichever way
I
you
don't
want to
believe
say
I
it?
have.
So he's helped over 2 million people achieve financial freedom, and he was quoted as saying, "Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait."
Oh, it's like investments.
Yeah,
It is.
and it's
And
going to
your
go
home
up.
is an investment.
That's
Yes.
right.
So we haven't talked about this on the show for months, but I want our listeners to know that what investing in real estate has done for me and Cindy, and we bought our first home together as an investment in 1996, not the one we were living in, but our first investment.
Yes.
And that's what's happened for us, as it's built a legacy for our kids and our grandkids, spinning off generational wealth for them on the day that we're not here anymore. And we started, Dave, with very little money when we bought our first investment property. Remember, Cindy? We
did.
weren't where we are today, and it was a little bit of a struggle.
Yes.
But we bought that property, and it has appreciated incredibly. So we bought it 27 years ago, and at that time we bought it for like 70, and today it's worth about 235. So it's been a great long-term
I'd say that's a
investment.
good little
Yeah, that's a
investment.
good little
Yes.
appreciation.
And in most cases, it's been tenant occupied and the tenants have made the payment. Now, sometimes when you think about it, you don't always have 100% occupancy and you have some vacancy and maintenance. But for the most part, the tenants have helped us to make the payment and that property is now paid off.
There are some important things that we've done. For instance, taking 10 and 15-year mortgages for these investments.
Okay.
A little bit of a strap there. Sometimes it was a little tight. Maybe we were paying the mortgage and then sticking in an extra $100 or $200 every month
Yes.
to make that payment. But we were investing in our future. We were in our income earning years, and we still are.
Yep.
And so we decided to put those on shorter mortgages, which worked well. We reinvested all of the cash flows that we got, Dave, into the properties. So instead of pocketing that money and going out to a nice dinner or going on a vacation,
Yes.
we took all of that money and spun them right back into paying off the interest on those loans. We also hired a property manager so that we could do what we do best, and that is helping our customers buy and sell real estate, while the management company took care of the maintenance and all the phone calls from the tenants,
They
right?
do what they do best. Let the
Exactly.
pros do their
Collect
job
the
and we do your
rent.
job.
Is there a little cost to it? Sure, but when you
Yes.
write it off, we formed an LLC, made it a business, and
And
we
peace
write
of
off those
mind.
management fees.
Peace of
So
mind as well.
there is wisdom in realizing that something like 90% of millionaires, and I read this the other day, in the United States own real estate, and many of them own multiple properties. So I just wanted to share today in this wisdom segment about what this has done for me and Cindy, now owning 11 or 12 properties, paid for free and clear.
And you know what's interesting is, of course, we've both been licensed since 1987. And I've always said being a realtor is something that's wonderful because I am helping people buy real estate and I believe in it. It's a product that I believe in because it's done so much for Wally and me in our life. And so it's been a win-win.
I like how it always goes hand in hand where you find millionaires and people who are well off, they own property. You find people that own property, they usually have a pretty good financial portfolio. It goes hand in hand.
It does.
And people think, well, how do I get into that? Oh, well, I don't have $1 million, so how do I start doing it? Well, you're right. You need a little bit of money on the side. If you save a little bit and start out small, you didn't buy an $800,000
No.
home. You bought a $70,000 home.
That's
so go out,
right.
buy something small. And then when you rent it out, that's where you're getting your help. Because if I have right now a $2,000 home payment, but I'm renting the home for $1,700 a month, well, I'm really, if I'm putting that money back into it, I'm paying $300 a month for this property.
You know, you can't really go invest $300 a month into the investment market and do much with that money.
Yes.
To go throw $3,600 into the investment market this year, you wouldn't see a whole lot of appreciation. Real estate over time, especially if you look over the last 10, 20, 30 years, has been a great solid investment. And I just think that there is a lot to be said about planning. Let's say that you are listening today and you have kids or grandkids. You want to give them the wisdom, because that's what we do with our kids and grandkids, Cindy. Give them the wisdom about what they can do to have a great life, because that's what we all want, right? For our kids and grandkids is to have a great and prosperous life. And fortunately, Cindy and I will always feel good about leaving that legacy for our grandkids.
That's amazing.
That's right.
really
And we
cool.
want to do that for our customers as well.
Hey, we'll be right back with our second House Talk segment when we return next.
To schedule an appointment with Wally Kerr to help you or a family member buy or sell a home, call or text at 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Wally will be right back with more of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show right here on KOKC.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful. From knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Stoke with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758, Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for your dream home? They're hard to find right now, aren't they? The best homes are being gobbled up quickly by home buyers like you, who are finding the best homes at the best prices before you can get to them. Feeling frustrated? Stop the insanity and get on board with a real estate team that will do the work for you. We've got access to off-market homes that other agents don't know about and other buyers can't find. Why? My Guaranteed Home Sale program brings me home sellers every week who would like me to buy their home right now. We call it shadow inventory. Many of these sellers are ready to sell, but just aren't ready to put their home on the market. Some of them want the process to be quick and easy. without having to get their home ready and endure a string of showings. Make sense? If you'd like to access these homes and other off-market properties, call me today. Tell me you heard the show when you call. Let's find your perfect home together. I'm Wally Kerr at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 330-3000. Call me today at 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
One of my favorite segments, because I love to hear about houses that are available, and I love to hear about pools and golf courses and all the cool stuff that I know I shouldn't make my purchase based on that. We've already discussed that. But we have some open houses and maybe a listing of the week, Wally?
We do. Dave, our listeners can come out and see two great homes this weekend. They're both open on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. Go see Cody Crawford on our team at 2808 Pecan Valley in Norman. It's a great neighborhood, but it's also a great home. So it's 4 bedrooms with a study, with 3 bathrooms, a 3-car garage. There's community pool, a community playground. It's in North Central Norman. It's at $369,900, so say $370,000.
Sure. And
then meet Tyler Schwartz this weekend in Edmond at 3713 Northwest 168th Terrace. And that home is priced at $309,900, so about $310,000. David's got a 3-car garage. It's just under 2,000 feet, and it's in a community with a pool and a park and walking trails.
Nice.
So both of those homes open Sunday, 2 to 4. Our listing of the week this week is in Rivendell. Beautiful community.
Yes.
This is a home that is on a lakefront lot with a swimming pool and a spa. It's a gated community. The home has 4 fireplaces.
4? Wow.
It's just a mile off of I-44, so it's a great location whether you're going north or south from that location.
Okay.
It's 12304 Bywater Road. It's over 5,700 feet. It's got a balcony that overlooks the lake. It's 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, and a massive master closet with a dry sauna and an exercise room inside the master closet. Okay. And this home is now priced at $1,060,000. Take a look at that one online. The pictures are gorgeous. It's a beautiful executive home in South Oklahoma City. Certainly worth taking a few minutes to look at online.
Let's go back and revisit that segment on finding a bargain home. How can I apply everything we learned there so I can get that home for me? The way you described that house, it sounds immaculate. It sounds fantastic.
It's beautiful.
That is awesome. We are going to jump into 4 habits of a successful home buyer. Now, Wally and Cindy, both of you are going to jump in on this. I know the interest rates are high right now at the current market. We've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks, of course. Seems like a great time to work on getting ready to buy your first, second, or third home. And you brought us some common traits today about how to typify a successful, ready home buyer. Knowing that the interest rates will subside in the future, I've been reading where predictions for the spring show some really optimism for lower home mortgage rates, which would obviously be the start to a flurry of home purchases, right?
Yeah, it
and
would.
lots of competition.
Cooling inflation is what the Fed wants to see, and you and I do too. The cost of living this last month was unchanged from the month of September. Again, we mentioned earlier it was 0.2%. So that was the same that it was in September as in October. Dave, do you have any idea what took the edge off of U.S. inflation last month?
I know gas prices have gone down.
That's a big one. Boy,
okay.
Gas has dropped 40, 50 cents a gallon.
Yes.
So that contributed to a lower CPI index. It shows incremental progress in the Federal Reserve's efforts to get prices under control.
Okay.
And inflation kind of pulled in and reined in.
Okay, so these 4 habits we're going to discuss today are habits that a successful home buyer should work to achieve. Is that right?
That's right. And one of them is ditching indulgences to save for a down payment.
Okay.
It's amazing how quickly your morning gourmet coffees add up.
Yes. Yes, on a daily basis. Now, I know that I'm thinking, okay, $2, $3 here, but over a week, over a month, that starts to add up. If I can sock that money away, I'm sure it would help.
That's right. Eating out, for example. That is another one where you can cut some and save some money for a down payment.
Yeah, what if you cut back on your Starbucks, Dave, to just, say, 2 days a week instead of 5 to 7 days a week? Now, I love my coffee as much as anybody does.
Yes.
I'm a huge coffee drinker, but it is amazing what a lot of successful buyers will do to begin saving money so that they've got that down payment money.
So I can switch from the mocha frappuccino caramel latte with chocolate shaved sprinkles to maybe just my black coffee.
At home.
At home.
You can do that. Now, Cindy just mentioned eating out.
It's gotten so expensive.
It has.
And we go out, and I know that there's been everything from labor shortages. The price of food has gone way up.
Way up.
So there's just been different areas in the restaurant industry that just cost more money these days. And I know a big part of inflation as well is like our entertainment.
That's
streaming services. Hulu, Disney, Netflix, those keep going up as well. So after coffee and restaurants and going home to watch all the shows on Netflix and everything, you're looking at a couple $100 a month easily,
That's right.
Well, and maybe you signed up for Disney and Hulu and Netflix because you weren't eating out as much.
Yes.
So maybe those are balancing each other out in the end, right?
And you know your gym membership. Wally and I both have a gym membership, and we do use it. But it's interesting when we talk to gym management where we are, that only about 20% of the people who have a gym membership actually go.
Oh, I can believe that.
And one of the reasons they don't get rid of their membership is the fact that they feel like they'll be a failure because they have good intentions to go back.
Or that they can say they belong to a gym.
Yes.
That's just an impressive statement, isn't it? When your buddy looks at you and says, hey, do you go to the gym? And you feel badly about saying no, and they say they have a gym membership, don't you almost feel a little compelled to just go get a gym membership, even if you're just going to say you've got one?
And I did, and I didn't go all the time because, one, I always thought, well, after work I'll go. Well, then I'm tired.
Yes.
And, well, I'll go in the morning, start my day out right. Well, I want that extra hour of sleep. So I saved up the money that I was paying for the gym membership, bought some home gear.
Neat.
Have it in the garage. So I step into my garage and do it. And so I'm saving a little money that way.
Absolutely. And Amazon, that's another thing. You know, it's so easy to click and buy things, but really starting to think about saving for that down payment. There's a lot of other indulgences like frequent trips to the casino, movies, clothing, shoes, bottled water, dry cleaning, upgrading your cell phone package. And, you know, it's so important to save for that down payment.
She mentioned bottled water.
Yes.
And when she wrote that down the other day and we were talking about this segment, I thought, wow, I can remember going to college football games the last few years and paying $6 or $7 for a bottle of water and buying 3 bottles during a game.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like much at the time, but it does begin to add up. So it can be these big indulgences, whether it is going out and spending $300 or $400 at the casino on a Friday night, which is fun to do. My dry cleaning, I learned recently I could take some of my shirts and instead of having them dry cleaned, use the delicate cycle on the washer. So there's lots of things there that can change that create better habits for saving for your down payment.
Sure. Most people can probably, like myself, pull in the reins on a lot of indulgent purchases. So the first topic would help most anyone save money towards buying a home or upgrading from where they are. What's another habit that a successful home buyer exhibits?
You know, home buyers and potential home buyers need to set up a savings account so they can save for that 20% down payment. If you put less than 20% down, now you're going to have to buy private mortgage insurance. And what is that? That's something that doesn't do you any good at all. It's insurance for the lender in case you default. So why not save that and set up a savings account and put down 20%.
And then Dave Ramsey, I was reading on his site the other day, always says try to get a 15-year mortgage. Even if it stretches you a little bit, save for that 20% down. Now, your mortgage is less. Get that 15-year mortgage and try to make sure that your payments are no more than 25% of your monthly take-home pay.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good rule to live by.
So when rates were 3%, it made sense to borrow as much as you could because you could invest the difference and probably get a better rate of return than what the mortgage rates were and everything at that time. Now with interest rates above 7%, it just makes sense to put more money down, right?
It does. So most of the investments that Cindy and I are in will average about an 8% return. That's what our investment planner set up for us, right, Cindy?
That's right.
Was to get about 8% annually. And there's risk in those. So when you buy a home, as I talked about earlier, remember those words from Franklin Roosevelt: purchased with common sense and paid for in full and managed with reasonable care. Real estate is about the safest investment in the world. So save your money and use it for a down payment and work hard to pay that home off. History has shown that homes are great investments, and it certainly worked for us.
And third on our list, Dave, is you can test drive being a homeowner and saving for maintenance. You can set up a separate account. We know that it's going to cost you about 1% of the value of the home divided by 12. That would be the monthly amount you would want to put in that account, because things are going to come up. A hot water heater is going to fail. A roof is going to leak. Your heat and air system is going to go bad. Mr. Murphy is going to move into your back bedroom when you own a home. And I'll tell you what's interesting is you need to flip the switch and think about, as a homeowner, that you're not going to have a landlord to call. You are the landlord now. So when things happen, you're going to need to turn to that maintenance account.
I know one of the big costs are either HVAC or roofs. Now, there's something about a full replacement policy that you can get for your roof, right? Is that available? Does that cost a lot, or how does that happen, Cindy?
It can be available on a home that has a roof in good condition, but also a fairly new roof. So we have a partnership with Best Protect Roofing. Their phone number is 405-473-9599, and they will come out and give you a free roof inspection. Also, you need to keep in mind when you're purchasing a home with a fairly new roof, you can ask for full replacement coverage. That's different from a prorated policy because we know hail's going to happen in Oklahoma. So when hail does happen, if you've got full replacement coverage, your insurance company is going to pay for a new roof minus the deductible.
So we've covered 3 so far. Ditching your indulgences.
Yes.
That's a tough one for me. Saving 20% for a down payment. Establishing a maintenance or a slush fund, as Wally always likes to call it, for repairs. So we mentioned 4. What's the 4th habit of a successful home buyer?
Pay your bills on time and know your credit score. Lenders are going to give a better interest rate for borrowers who are better credit risks.
Yes.
So check out your credit score. It's like having a clean driving record. Your insurance is going to be cheaper too.
That was really a great segment. I'm kind of surprised about what I learned about myself from that. Maybe especially, I'm going to have to cool myself on the Starbucks a little bit. I thought I might need Starbucks for the segment. No, I need to maybe slow the Starbucks train during the week, save a little money for that. And I also know that great advice and expertise is something I've come to expect from you two with 30 years of experience in the business.
It's gone fast. But it's been a pleasure to work with Cindy all of these years, and we love helping people, and that is our goal. And so if we could help your family, your friends, your relatives, your grandkids or kids, we'd love to have your phone call or your communication. Shoot me an email at wally@kerrteam.com or call us at 330-3000. We'd love to visit and have an opportunity to help you or your family.
And it's been so great to see the generations now. Now we're selling homes and helping people and their kids, in some cases grandkids. So it's just been a very rewarding career.
We'll wrap up this week's show right after this short break. Stick around.
The market is shifting. Do you know what to do? If you're selling a home, you need to realize that market demand is changing, and it's changing now. More homes are coming on the market than homes that are actually selling, so the inventory is going up. What does rising inventory mean? Prices can soften. It's important you get on the train right now and understand what you need to do to sell a home. First of all, my guaranteed home sale program will create more demand for your home, because I can buy someone else's home so that they can buy yours. If you're thinking about selling by owner, I can create more demand for your home than you can ever create on your own. I'm Wally Kerr, and I believe in aggressive marketing. My wife and I have done this for 36 years together, and we now have a team of 28 people. If you'd like to create more demand for your home so that your home will sell faster and for top dollar, give me a call today at 405-330-4000 at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'd love to meet with you and discuss a strategy and plan for getting your home sold. Call me at 330-4000. I look forward to talking to you myself.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Stoke with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233. Equal housing lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Let's put a quick wrap on today's show. A lot of great segments, a lot of great topics. Wally, any parting thoughts for us today?
So there is news circulating, read an article midweek about the largest private bank in the world in Switzerland,
Okay.
who believes that some things are going to happen this next year that we have to watch. They believe that economic growth is going to be slower and that there might be some more unemployment that comes around.
Okay.
And so you and I know that that would be great for home buyers and home sellers.
Yes.
Because if the Fed doesn't see us growing like expectations are, that rates would drop.
And inflation pulls back a little bit in that case, right?
It does. And so I want to be careful and not get caught up in the media. You could read whatever you want to read online.
There's
right?
so many differing opinions.
Yes.
But if we can get there and the Fed sees inflation slowing, which we've seen news of the last 2 months in the economic numbers, then the Fed can slowly begin to reduce its rate. And this will allow long-term mortgage rates to begin to ease, which is what everybody wants, right? That plans to buy or sell a home in the future.
So it's all very sensitive right now, isn't it?
Interest rates just rose too quickly, beyond anybody's expectations who plan to buy or sell. This great New York Times article that I mentioned earlier in our show today, go online and see if you can find this article from Tuesday of this week. It was November 14th. And the article was entitled, "The Fed Has Put Our Housing Market in Jeopardy."
Okay.
And it was a really interesting read if you can find it. And it offers a road that the Fed could take today to lower interest rates for home mortgages, which would restore a critical part of what needs to be part of our economic growth right now.
Sure.
You know, the housing industry is huge, local and nationally. And as the housing market grows, there's economic growth. Everybody wants mortgage rates to be lower. It was an excellent article, and I do think that there is good news on the horizon. I told our team this week that I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, perhaps on the housing market and interest rates. It looks like it's a long way down the tunnel, but it might be here sooner than we think if the inflation news continues to be good. And let's hope that people can keep their jobs and that economic growth continues. Do your own reading. I do a lot of it. I don't want to share too much, but I do think that 2024 does bring the prospect of lower interest rates.
Come on, Fed.
That will excite a lot of home buyers and sellers.
Well, that's cool. I'll have to check out that New York Times article. And if you're like me and not a reader, you prefer to listen, we have over, what, Wally, 40 shows now?
I think this is show number 41, and we always post the new content.
Yes.
So whatever people hear today, and if you tuned in late and missed part of our show, we actually repeat Sundays at noon. And so you can download each weekly show on Wednesday of the following week. And Dave, we have 40, 41, maybe 42 shows now for our listeners.
Yes, you just go to wallytalkshouses.com, and it's separated by topics as well. And there's well over 100 topics, all in short, easy to listen to segments. So you can hop on that treadmill at the gym that you are paying that membership for, and you're going down there and you are using it. Listen to that segment, scan through, download everything you want to do so you could be a real estate expert. just like Wally and Cindy.
We want to share our knowledge, help our listeners. We'd love to have the opportunity to serve, again, you or your family. We'd consider that a privilege. We hope you'll join us each week for the show.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Thanks, Dave.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr. Heard every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. and replayed on Sundays at noon here on 1520 a.m. and 95.3 FM KOKC. Wally's name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak with Wally directly about selling your home or buying, call or text him to schedule an appointment at 405-330-3000. 405-330-3000. Or go to wallysguarantee.com. That's wallysguarantee.com.